Okay, so this is my new product line here, and it's acrylic paints and canvas as part of my line, and you can paint on it, you can draw on it. I ran it through my printer. You can die cut it, and you can see here that it's really sticky on the back, so you can use it. You could do all your mixed media techniques and then cut it out and include it in your projects that way. So if you're a card maker or you like to scrapbook, yeah, then you can include it in your projects. You could be really mixed media, but you're not going to dirty up your scrapbook page or your cards or things like that. And the adhesive remains sticky even with using a lot of water media on top of it. You can get really mixed media with it. It's not going to ruin the adhesive on the back as well. Over here we have my paint brushes, which are inexpensive paint brushes, but they're also durable enough. They're not going to lose hairs in your project or anything like that. They're synthetic, and you can mistreat them. I mistreat all of my paint brushes, and you're still going to get a good...
Just because they've been bad.
They've been bad. Well, I like to stick them right in my water jar right away, and I don't do all the things that you're supposed to with paintbrushes, so you don't have to feel guilty about mistreating them. We've got my acrylic paints. This is the new line of acrylic paints, which come in 15 different colors, and you can see here it's a real creamy paint. It's somewhere between a heavy body and a fluid paint, so it's not as thick as a heavy body, but it's not as liquidy as a fluid paint. It also has a really high pigment volume, so you're not going to get any of the binder separating out where you get that layer of goo at the top of the paint when it's been sitting on the shelf. So you'll never need to shake it to get started. You'll just be able to open the jar and start with it right away. They are transparent, so they're meant to be intermixed to create a true third color. If you intermix opaque paints, you'll get either muddy or you'll get chalky paint in the end. So these are transparent so that way you can intermix all the colors to create a new color as well. And then over here, I've got the Multimedia, which is my gel medium, and it's got a real creamy viscosity, and I use that as my glue. I use it as a transfer medium. I use it to glue fabric. You could glue cardstock on with it. You could glue paper with it. So that, hence the multi in the name. You can use it for multitude of things. And all that information is also on the side of the jar. I also have my gesso, which is a primer. So you can see it's thicker, and that's what you would use to prime your cigar boxes, your paper mache items that you get from the craft store. No, this is just a primer. That's what you use it to prime, to create an acid-free base that then you can work on top of. And to do this technique, this is the Faux Batik
I gotta
technique.
see how she is. I love this.
Doesn't that look nice? And here I used it to make these little headbands so that it does really look like a batik look to the sticky back canvas. So all you do, what I'm using here is I'm going to use the Multimedia as the resist. So I'm going to get some of that out onto my craft sheet. And then I'm just going to stamp in it. Here I'm just going to use a foam stamp. So I just want to get my foam stamp all gooey. And then I'm just going to stamp across the top like that. Then I'm going to dry that. It doesn't take that long to dry because we're not putting it on that thickly. If you were gluing on a heavier item like the metal key that I glued on over there, or the domino or the dice, it would maybe take half an hour or something like that to dry because you would be using more of it. So it can glue mid-weight items on when you're using it as an adhesive. And put it out onto the craft sheet. And then I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to water it down. You want it really watery for this technique. You'll also notice when you're playing with the paint and you do water it down, you're not going to get any of the pigment separation that you would with a more of a craft paint, because using fillers in this paint, so you're not getting where you get like little pixels of the pigment dropping out. So then what I'm going to do is just take it and paint it on top.
Oh, wow.
And it reveals the image there. And then that's what creates the faux batik look. And once I've finished and dried it, I could die cut that, I could freehand cut it, I can draw on it, and then I can include it in my project that way.
That is just beautiful.